Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the 2025 AME Institute Burbank, the premier event connecting creative educators with the creative industries. Together, we are building a strong and diverse creative workforce of the future. Please silence your cell phones and direct your attention to the stage and this morning's performance from Renaissance Arts Academy, a model AME school located in downtown Los Angeles. Welcome to the AME Institute Burbank stage, Allison Frenzel, Education Programs Consultant and Arts, Media and Entertainment Sector Lead for the California Department of Education.
So welcome to the 2025 AME Institute. We're really excited about this year's event. I want to give Ashley Adams a special round of applause as well for putting this all together. And the entire AME Institute team who's worked tirelessly to make this event possible. We're so lucky to have an organization that's dedicated specifically to advocacy and leadership for AME teachers. So I couldn't be more appreciative of her and the work she's done in this space. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Erica Torres. She became my branch deputy at the California Department of Education around last summer, I feel like, or last fall. And I have had the honor of working under her leadership at CTE for almost a year now. She is one of the most thoughtful, collaborative, and student-centered educational leaders that I have ever known. She always puts our students and teachers first and understands the impact of our programs and how they support student engagement and student learning. She works tirelessly to ensure systems are working in the best interest of schools and teachers and students, and will fight on behalf of our learners. It's my honor to introduce her to all of you for our AME Institute kickoff, and I will turn it over to Dr. Torres to continue the welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right. It is such an honor to be with you today. On behalf of our State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurmond, and our entire California Department of Education team, I want to thank you. Thank you for everything that you do each and every day for our students, our families, our school communities, for educators across the beautiful state of California. I want you to know that you're changing lives every day. Your passion, your commitment, your advocacy is truly commendable. I want to also take a moment to thank and acknowledge an amazing visionary leader, Ashley Adams. Thank you for everything that you do. I also want to acknowledge Allison Frenzel, our amazing AME leader that has helped us to really elevate this important work that you do each and every day. I had the honor of meeting Allison when I was at the Inglewood Unified School District, and our teachers would always say, there's someone by the name of Allison who is just really helping us to advocate for critical programs for our students. AME is one of the pathways that we really focused on when I was at the Inglewood Unified School District. And we did that because our students said, this is what we want. And we helped to make it happen with Allison's support. So thank you, Allison, for everything that you do for our students and families. California is proud to be home to over 260,000 students enrolled in arts, media, and entertainment pathways. 260,000, supported by more than 1,400 dedicated educators. AME is not only the largest sector in career technical education in the state, but it is also the driving force in shaping the future of our creative economy. So give yourselves a round of applause. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to work very closely with Allison and various leaders within the California Department of Education on a priority that is really close to my heart. And this is something that all of you have really focused on diligently and advocated for, which is updating our California career technical education standards. I do believe that updating our standards is a social justice issue. The California Department of Education has prioritized this work because we recognize how critical it is to ensure that our students are prepared for their futures and that all of you as educators and leaders throughout the state have the tools and resources and the guidance that you need in order to offer high-quality, relevant instruction. And this work, we believe, will help to ensure that all of our students have access to high-quality programs that are inclusive, relevant, and aligned with the demands of today's creative workforce. So I just wanted to thank you for your patience. I wanted to thank you for your advocacy and your leadership. So I'm really excited to share our next steps in this critical work. Earlier this month, the California Department of Education submitted a memo to the State Board of Education outlining our timeline and next steps for updating our CTE standards that are going to be aligned with the National Career Technical Education Framework. On July 11th, I'm really excited to share that we're going to provide an update at the California Workforce Pathway Joint Advisory Committee, and we're honored to invite Ashley to participate with us to talk about this important work. And no later than November, so what we're expecting is for the November 2025 State Board of Education meeting that we will present the first phase of our revised standards, which will include AME, to the State Board of Education for approval. I want to thank you again for your leadership, for your passion, your commitment to all of our students in the state of California. Thank you again.
Good morning. It's great to see all of you here. Welcome back to Burbank. Last year was the first year we honored the incredible contributions of Chris McClung and Jack Mitchell to the field of AME education with the Mitchell-McClung AME Leadership Awards. In a few minutes, we will honor the 2025 awardees, Jeff Larson and Leah Medrano. But this past fall, the AME Institute community lost Chris McClung to her battle with cancer. Chris's husband, Roger, her daughter, Gabi, and her granddaughter, Louisa, are here today, and I'd like to invite them to stand. Roger, Gabi, Louisa, in this room, you see Chris's legacy. She was the one who originally brought this AME community together, along with Jack, and we are all here because of her bold dreams, her persistence, and her fierce commitment to the creative spirit of young people. Chris was a builder of communities that will long outlive her, and the AME Institute is pleased to honor this legacy annually with the award named in her honor. I also want you to know you are welcome back every single year. We love having you. And now to this year's awards. Please join me in welcoming Jack Mitchell and our 2024 Mitchell-McClung recipient, Gail Nichols Ali, to the stage.
It is a profound honor for me to be here today among the people who do the work. Because at the Department of Education, I did a lot of work. I went to work every day, and I dealt with systems and things like that. But at 8 o'clock in the morning when that bell rings, you are the ones who teach the students. You are the ones who make the difference in their lives. So I am honored to be able to speak to you today. And I also want to thank you for Chris McClung, because I can feel her here at my side saying, don't make it too long. And I'm glad that Roger and Gabi and Louisa can be here today, because none of this would have happened without Chris McClung. Chris was the one who came to me and said, these teachers need an opportunity to meet with industry. It's one thing to talk about industry, but if the teachers never have an opportunity to interact with industry, their students are not going to be ready for those jobs in the future. And so Chris is the one who is really responsible for this event. Is there anybody here who was at the event in San Diego, the very first event in San Diego? If you are, please stand. That year was, well, stand up then. Get up, girl. That year there were 88 of you sitting in chairs in a small room in San Diego. And we had a crazy guest speaker, Eric Natsky, who I have to tell this one little story about him because we were all in the back of the room and he was talking about his journey and how did he become this great digital artist and stuff. And he said, well, you know, one day I walked into my brother's room, my older brother's room, and on the top of his dresser there were this row of little pills. Do you remember this, Jeff? And he said, you know, I took one of those things and I didn't know what it was, so I just, being a kid, I put it in my mouth. And that was my first experience with acid. He said, but more importantly, it opened me up to seeing things in a new way. And you can imagine us in the back of the room going, oh, now this is interesting. But you all teach your students to see things in a new way. You all teach your students to be the most creative people that they can be. It's my honor this morning to present the award to someone who was at that first event and someone who gave us Eric Natsky. And I will always be grateful to Jeff. I'm going to read his accomplishments because he deserves it. He earned them. Jeff is an award-winning AME educator, instructional designer, and digital media specialist with 25 years of experience in the industry. He co-leads the CAST Academy at Balboa High School in San Francisco, where he oversees career-focused education and creative industries through hands-on work with students. As a longtime Adobe educator, he was an Adobe educator when we first met, and a recipient of the Graduate Student Distinguished Achievement Award in Instructional Technology, Jeff has contributed to statewide district-level CTE efforts, curriculum development, educator training. He has also taught instructional technology at San Francisco State University. Jeff's work is rooted in empowering students through creative storytelling, real-world media production, entrepreneurship, and meaningful partnerships with industry. I want to talk about those meaningful partnerships with industry because when we started out, we didn't really know what that looked like. Chris's idea was, let's put together some demonstration sites of people who are doing this well and let them show their colleagues what it looks like. So one of our first demonstration days was at Jeff's high school, at Balboa High School. We went there and we heard from Jeff's co-teachers, George and other people from the school, but we also heard from people who they work with in the industry, from people from the Museum of Modern Art, from people from BAVAC, people who really gave the kids a chance to step into industry and get a feeling of what it looks like. Jeff is an amazing collaborator. He has been part of this community and a leader in this community for a long time, and it's my honor to welcome Jeff to the stage and award him the Mitchell McClung Award.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, good morning and thank you. It's nice to be seen and recognized. This is my one joke, but you know, that's maybe not so difficult when you're 6'7". So when I received the email about receiving this award, I was awash in a flood of memories And the people who first came to mind were Chris and Jack, two amazing leaders and mentors, just people who show you how to do the work, how to get things done. Through Chris and Jack, I've met Allison and Joanna and so many others. And, this is the work that we do. I do want to thank my colleague George, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, he's sick. Hopefully he's feeling better. Educating for careers is sort of where I got my first inspiration. When I first was starting to be a CTE teacher and seeing Matt Cothran from Palm Desert and the data program and being like, whoa, that's the kind of stuff you can do? I want to do that. The demo sites program that Jack talked about was so key and instrumental about just bringing together people who have, different experiences and resources and building a network, partnering with each other, doing the work together. Jack was all by himself at the Department of Ed. And we talk about, the fact that we have so many students in our programs, and yet, the ag program has 12 people to help the state and lots of industry and a professional organization that went back to the 1920s. And so when we talk about building all this and going to educating for careers and holding sessions with a design thinking mindset of like, what do we need? What do we as educators need? And making lists and making plans and figuring out how can we build something that works for us. So I'm so proud. And again, BAVAC was one of our first partners, and that's how I met Adobe. It was like getting trained by some trainers at BAVAC from Adobe, the Adobe Youth Voices program, and their Create with Purpose emphasis. And SF MoMA helping us, being a responsive partner, being a long-term committed partner, wanting to help our students and give us a place to continue to learn. Adobe has been a supporter from the very beginning of all of this work and continue to be with the keynote speakers, sessions, and sponsors and trainings, the kind that we wanted at Educating for Careers. As I'm winding down, the last couple people I want to thank would be my 8th grade teacher, media arts teacher, Gail Stauffer. I have no idea where she is, if she's still with us or not. But she said, when you make it big, which is this is about as big as I'm going to get. She said, make sure you thank me. And I remember her very much. She helped me do my first stop motion animation stuff. And then my high school art teacher, Nataha Lightfoot, who kept me inspired. But one of the things I remember was like the pathways weren't clear. Where to go? What do we do? How do we get there? And so through working with folks like that, like all of you, we've built those pathways and those programs. I do want to really thank all of you for sharing your passions and your talents, your creativity, that you create opportunities for your students and your communities. And together we have built a thriving, successful, and important professional organization. I look forward to meeting more of you, making more friends, and continuing to do this work for several more years. So thank you all so much.
So my name is Gail Nichols-Ali, and I want to give a shout out to my friend over there, Jeff. He totally does deserve this, and we were in an elevator together. I don't know if you remember in San Diego at the first one, and I thought, wow, this dude is really tall. So our industry partners are essential to the work that we do, and more importantly, it shows our students what's possible, because often the people in the industry look like them. So that all of a sudden they're like, oh, I could do that. And so they reflect a lot of what we want in our community, which is people who are doing the work who reflect our students. So this year's industry recipient is Leah Medrano. And Leah serves as the Deputy Director of the California Film Commission, appointed by Governor Gavin Newsom. She brings over 2 decades of public service and strong background in production, combining her expertise to oversee the state's film and television tax credit programs. Her leadership helped sustain California's status as a premier destination for film and television production. We need her because we need to bring it back. Leah joined the California Film Commission in 2009 when the tax credit program was first introduced and has since played a key role in its development and success. Prior to this, she worked in broadcast and reality television with major networks such as CBS, ABC, Fox, and MTV. And maybe if you stop her, she'll tell you which shows she worked on. And also, she served in roles at the California Highway Patrol and Department of State Hospitals. And she said to me earlier, I'm all over the place. And you can understand that if you're in AME, that sometimes you're all over the place because you do what you need to do to get the work done. Beyond her professional work, Leah serves on the board of PhilAm Arts, and that's Filipino arts for anybody who needs to know, and mentors young women through Women Entertainment Program, and is active in organizations promoting diversity and inclusion in media, and we know we need that. Leah has been a steadfast supporter of the AME Institute, always eager to support educators in their efforts to align with industry. We need her, and we need people like her to help us in our classrooms, to help us with our students, to get them to have a bigger, broader understanding that beyond our classrooms, their futures are ahead of them. Behind the scenes, she has secured some of our favorite programming and speakers such as, do you guys remember last year? Who's our speaker? Let's see. Who remembers who our speakers? Vivica Fox. Good, you get an A. And this year's kickoff panelist, Christina Poncher. Thank you, and let's give her a big round of applause and congratulate Leah Medrano.
I'm not as tall as Jeff, so hopefully everybody can see me. Good morning, AME. How are we doing today? All right. We're going to try that again. Hopefully the coffee will kick in the next couple of minutes. Well, thank you, Gail. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Jack. This is such an honor to be here with all of you this morning. And I wanted to say, growing up in the Philippines, surrounded by educators, there were basically two career paths, whether you go into the medical field or the education field. But I took neither one of those paths because I ended up in government and entertainment. But I knew deep down that I had a big passion for education. So I went back to school, got my master's degree, and with an emphasis in social and cultural analysis in education. Go Beach, Cal State Long Beach, yes, Jeff? And during my work at the California Film Commission and during grad school, that was when I met Jack Mitchell. Jack had been such a big supporter and advocate of our career readiness program when we launched that back in 2015. And 5 years later, Jack continued his advocacy, making sure that we have a true commitment and support for our career pathways programs. 10 years later, we had placed thousands of interns, different films, TV series, and also had fulfilled hundreds of faculty externships for educators as yourselves. So thank you, Jack, for all that you do. So in closing, I wanted to share with you, as an immigrant, my heart aches at the moment. We are experiencing suboptimal times in our country, in our state, in our city of Los Angeles. However, I am very hopeful and thankful for all of you educators, for all of you to continue to inspire, to educate, and to challenge our students to make sure that they stand up, have a voice, whether it's through arts, dance, media, filmmaking, gaming, sports, entertainment. Thank you for everything that you do. So this award is to honor all of you. Thank you once again, and please enjoy this week. Thank you so much.
Congratulations again to Jeff and Leah. We are honored and pleased to recognize your exceptional commitment and contributions to the field. This year, we have well over 60 participating AME partner organizations and over 100 industry speakers. These individuals are here because they care about the work you do every day with students. They know that the kids in your classrooms are the innovators, the activists, the storytellers, and the leaders of tomorrow. And they know that these students need you, and sometimes you are the key adult in their life to shine a light on their future. I especially want to thank the AME partner organizations who have stepped up as sponsors this year. As many of you know, the AME Institute is a nonprofit organization. We can't do this work without the support of our sponsors. And if you are one of our esteemed AME sponsors here this morning, can you please stand? A number of our sponsors are powering special programming at this year's Institute, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about those. Thank you to Sony Pictures Entertainment. They are supporting our Sony AME Ambassador Program. Raise your hands, Sony AME Ambassadors. Oh, there we go. This is a unique opportunity for outstanding high school students to gain work experience, creative industry exposure, and have a lot of fun in the process. If you've been at the Institute before, you know these kids are working hard, and they're a wonderful reminder of why we are all here today. This year, Soundtrap has stepped up and to sponsor the Soundtrap Studio. This is a space where we will record 4 live podcast episodes of AME is Everywhere. This is a new podcast that explores how the skills learned in your arts, media, and entertainment classrooms can have interdisciplinary applications and solve real-world problems. In this podcast, you are going to meet some incredible individuals and projects that will expand your thinking and push you to remember that AME is truly everywhere. And finally, we are deeply grateful to the SNAP Foundation for their support and the return of the SNAP Wellness Lounge. You are invited to enjoy the lounge throughout the Institute and take advantage of the wellness-themed programming that happens in there. This year, Meteor Education, a company that has helped thousands of schools plan, design, install, and optimize their learning environments, has supplied all of the beautiful furniture in the Wellness Lounge. After the Institute, this furniture will be donated to McKinley School for the Arts in Pasadena, a school that was impacted by this winter's fires. And now, to our featured kickoff panel. Get in the arena, arts, media, and entertainment careers in sports. Let's cut to the replay and check out the exciting work of our featured speakers.